And we are back. I'm back. Like Mace, Rocky, Back to the Future, like the Terminator. I am back. It is good to be back. I got a ton of new Music Gear Mondays rolling out for you guys. And yes, it feels good. It feels good to be creating again. This past month, we've been doing a lot of random stuff and relaunched this page, Music Gear Mondays, now on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. Everything music gear right here. The MPC has a history going all the way back, being designed by Roger Lynn, hired by AKAI to come in and design the MPC 60 that was used on a good amount of classic records back in the day, and then rolling down the line and growing into something like the MPC 3000, which was a very popular one in the early 90s. One that's sitting in a museum right now that was used by Jay Dilla, was known to create masterful pieces on the MPC. This is an iconic piece of hardware. With this new MPC ONE, we cracked it open and it looks something like this. As soon as you open the box, that premium box that's big and hefty and has all the great colorful marketing on it, open it up, comes with a set of instructions, comes with the power cable. We weren't plugging it into a computer, we were just gonna crack it open, use some of the stock sounds and see if we can even figure out how to use it. So opening it up, it is a very robust machine. It is very sturdy, solid build quality. The pads, they feel very traditional MPC pads, thick, rubbery, have a very great response. The MPC pads are very premium, like you would expect for an MPC. Very thick and very responsive rubber, which I love. So the other cool things about this MPC ONE is that it has a built-in sequencer, it has a built-in sampler, I believe 8 channels that you can record to, you can loop, you can live record to these channels. So yeah, it's basically bringing back that original MPC element of all-in-one unit. So you're able to plug this guy in anywhere you go and create. With that being said, it has TRS outputs, so you can plug it directly out into some monitor speakers or into a mixer. It has 2 TRS inputs as well. What we did was went ahead and plugged in a turntable, and we just used the RCA out and ran it straight into the MPC. We used the MPC's onboard sampling to sample a record, and then trying to roll it out on the pads for me wasn't as intuitive as I thought it was going to be. I don't remember there being that many steps back when I was using like the MPC 1000 or the MPC 500, but then again, it's been a long time, like I said, since I used an MPC, and I think I might have just been too excited to really sit down and look at all the menus that I was looking at, but I was really trying to quickly roll this sample out into some pads. We kind of figured it out. We figured out a way to chop the sample by the threshold and then assign it to individual pads. But I still don't know how to automatically roll the sample out, similar to the way you do in Ableton when you just pull the sample into the sampler and then you hit chop or slice and then it automatically slices it to the pads. There's a way to do that on the MPC, but we'll get more into that after he's had some time to play around with it. Until then, yeah, this is what is in the box. It's the MPC LCD screen, full color option, very bright, very brilliant of a screen. You have play, record, enable buttons. You have a jog wheel to jog around the menus. You have your own built-in banks that you can import. There's a USB adapter in the back, but there's also an SD card slot in the front for expansion on sounds. There is 4 gigs of onboard storage, so you have a little bit of storage capacity, but you can also use that SD card slot to, store a ton of those sounds. The 7-inch screen is a touch screen, so that makes it a little bit easier to navigate. A lot of synth and sounds and effects to kind of play around with and get your feel. There's 8 CV gate outputs, so you can control mod synths. You have MIDI in and outs. You also have that single USB and a stereo line input and output 1/4-inch TRS connections. So this guy's a beast. For the price, I think a lot of people are going to start going for this piece of hardware in 2020. I know that they'll probably release some more firmware updates and maybe some expansion packs. It's only going to get better from the time that you get it, because there's so much that you can do with it, and the more you play around with it, the more you learn. Like I said, we only had an hour with this MPC ONE, and already I wanted to just mess around with it more and more. Like, it's just a fun little machine to play around with. So that's gonna do it today for Music Gear Mondays. Follow AKAI's page if you bought an MPC or you want more on the MPC ONE. There's a ton of resources there. We'll be doing some more in-depth review and some tips and tricks on the MPC ONE that we have. We've got some more episodes coming up on Phase DJ, so stay tuned for that. Again, if there's any pieces of gear that you enjoy that you'd like to see on the show, shoot us a line. I'm CRRLL. We'll catch you here next week on Music Gear Monday. Peace. Really clean. Just slap at that shit. You know what I mean? That shit's fun.